Hi everyone, it's Kim. Thanks for joining me. Before we get too far along in today's video, I want to start where we ended last time, and that is with All Creates new dog and cat stamps. And I want to give this guy a little bit of love because he was in our demo, but he was never on an actual card base. So this guy is called Grumpy Traveler, and I used him and the street sign post here in this card, and I also used a barrel here from another stamp. I'll show you that here in just a second. But we used several of the different techniques on him. Again, I did stamp in the background there, and then I colored him on white cardstock, cut him out, and put him on. So this way we can still see all his little hair standing up off his head, but I didn't have to cut around each of those. And all of these pieces are the ones that we double stamped, where we stamped them, colored them, put them back in the stamp positioner, and stamped again to bring back all those lines we might have colored out. So I had this guy and I also had this guy, same guy, just different color palettes. And for this one, I used pieces out of the Wacky Wolf Tails. So here's the barrel for here, the light post on this one, and then this guy has the Grumpy Traveler barrel. And this time I decided, hey, I'll just lay it on its side. So we just want to give these guys a little bit of love since they were in the demo and they didn't get their own time in the spotlight. So let's move on today with some other new things that we saw at Creativation. So Altenew has a new collection out, and we saw all of these at Creativation, and it's great to be able to see them in person. So I want to share several of these with you today. The first one is antique street lamps. So you can see there's two different like street lamp posts, and then we have the lights and the hanging plant. So I'm going to start with the hanging plant. One thing about Altenew, I love that on the back they have how you put all the pieces together. So if you ever are in doubt, you can just quickly go back and see how the pieces go together. Very easy to understand that. So on this first one with the plant, I used this lamp post and I used the background. I kind of wanted to make this grungy, so I used the Rust and Rev from 49 and Market paper. This little background here, the brick background, is something from my stash. I'm sure that's a Tim Holtz embossing folder. Hello is actually from this antique streetlight stamps. They have Hello, You Shine, and Shine Bright. So 3 sentiments that we can use in this set. And it was very easy to put together. Just follow the instructions on the back. So from this post, I can hang either a light or a plant from the set. But again, think about what you have maybe in your stash. You could pick anything that you wanted to hang from this. And then this one's kind of grungy, but let's take a look at another one. This one is more on the pretty and beautiful side. And this one has the street lamp. For the flowers, I had this kind of hang up that I needed to maybe cover the base here for some reason. So I thought, oh, I'm going to get myself some flowers. This is probably more of a daytime scene than a nighttime scene, and that's okay. The flowers are from Tapestry Blooms from Birch Press Design. Again, this is from one of their latest releases. When you look at the flowers here, it just looks like they have a single flower for each of the stems. And I know when I saw this online that there had been a little more variety. So I went back and looked at that. And these were combined with each other. So you can see on this one how I've combined like this with this here, whatever combination. So that makes even more variety as far as color and what you can do with these flowers. Now I have 2 stems here and I kind of cut them apart just to try to make them fit in my slimline card, my mini slimline card, and still cover up this base. Now I finally got over that thing of, oh, I've got to cover up that base of the street lamp. Here's the other version of the street lamp, or the street pole, I should say, with another lamp. So there is a large and a small, and there's 3 different light bulbs. So we've got these 2 here, and then this is the 3rd light bulb choice that you have. And again, it's on the smaller lamp. But this time I thought, I don't need to cover that. I can just leave that as is. This again is the Rust and Rev paper collection. And then Friends Make Every View Brighter. Those were from a Spellbinders class at Creativation. That is from the Better Press Real Color Sentiments. And it's real as in REEL. But I thought, wow, that's perfect. And there was another one about light. And I thought those are perfect to work with this sentiment or with this die set. So we're going to take a look at these here again in just another minute, but I want to share with you another Altenew set. And this time it is with doves. And while this doesn't maybe look like a dove, this was one of my later creations. We will take a look at two white doves because I think you think, oh, doves, they got to be white. So let me just show you this. There's two different style of doves. And again, on the back side, they show how to put these together and line them up. Now, when I opened a different one, I'm going to show you here in a minute, they have a keyhole system, and we're going to talk about that and show you how easy, because when you look at this, you may say, wow, that's a lot of pieces to line up and which goes with which bird. So we're going to do that in just a minute. I'll show you how great this keyhole is. But on this one, instead of making a white dove, I thought, well, let me see if I can make a bird in a different color. I was trying to play around with this because I thought if I maybe omit that first layer of the largest wings, maybe I look like I kind of have a chubby little robin there. So I want to get more use out of it than just doves. I mean, they make beautiful doves, but again, I want these to stretch as far as I can make them go. So I've got my bird, we'll say it's a dove, but a brown dove. And on the background here, I pulled out All Create's new film strip or negative die, and this is called Film Drip. So we looked at one before. This is the second one. So here's the one that we've looked at before, and I just want to show you the comparison. So this one is more of a portrait, and this is more of a landscape. But what did I do? I used this in the landscape mode for my dove. So you can use this either way, same with the other. And then this one kind of reminded me like of a moon. So that's in this set. And then this little like ink drop or whatever you want to splat, call that, I use down here. And then I thought, well, I'm going to make this like, I don't know, the bird's delivering mail or something. So I needed an airmail stamp, and I thought I could be looking all day for either paper that says airmail. I'm sure I have a stamp somewhere, but this is what I found first. I have a vintage stamp that says airmail, time perishable, and I just use this. So if you have anything like this, I like to use those in my creations as well. So that's where this came from. This is from a vintage stamp. But again, I know there's plenty out there that says airmail, whether you have it on a piece of paper or some ephemera, something. So this is just sort of was an experiment to see what else I could do with the dove in a different color. But I want to show you this keyhole because this is something that Altenew uses in a lot of their dies where there's a lot of pieces, and it makes it so simple to put together. So we looked at this bird. Let's take a look at this other bird that's kind of more expansive as far as its wings. And I've cut the pieces out, and I want to just show you how quickly we can put this together. And I'm going to pull this up. Let me show you the pieces here because I want to also show you the keyhole. So you can see the little keyhole there, and every one of these pieces except a couple of them have that keyhole, and there's a number. You can see 1, 2, hopefully you can see that, and then here's the other pieces. And then when I get down to the end, this is the last headpiece, which will cover up that keyhole, and then these are the feet, so we don't need to have a keyhole for that, and that little thing, it's the eye. So I'm going to show you how quickly I can put this together with these pieces, and then in another set, I actually saved those little arrows because I thought those are perfect little arrows. I'm going to just tuck those aside. You never know when you might need an arrow. The other thing I want to tell you is that the other bird has the same keyhole, but it's a little different cut out, a little different shaped opening. So you can figure out what goes with what. And I'm going to show you that on another die set that we're going to look at. So I just want to find all the ones that look like this and cut them out, and I'm going to put them together in order. So let's start with this. In fact, let me see here. Let me do it on the back of this, and that way you can see that keyhole better. So this is number 1. This is number 2, and I'm just going to glue around the head. I'm not going to go, normally I would glue up at the wing and everything, but to save some time here, if I can get my glue to come out, we'll just do this. So I want to line this up exactly over this keyhole, and you'll see how the beak lines up and the outer edges, the feathers, but everything lines up perfectly. You don't have to try to guess. So let's go to the third piece here. And if you're not sure, I always lay it down, make sure I can see where to line pieces up. And again, I would glue more of this down, but we'll just save a little bit of time. And again, I can line up the top edge of that wing. That arrow is perfect. So now I've got the headpiece that's a different color. And if I look on the back of the instructions, then I can see piece number 4 is a different color, and it's going to be underneath almost the exact same piece number 5 here. So if you're in doubt, which I was on the very first one of these I made, I just cut everything out in white paper, and then I could lay it down, and that's when I could see how easy it is. And I wish I had my little tweezers today, but we'll just kind of do the best we can. So you can see how all of those arrows, they just line up one on top of the other. And now we're going to do, basically 5 is almost the same as 4, except it doesn't have the beak on it. And so now when I line this up, that yellow beak sticks out. And then there's this other little headpiece, and I don't think, let's see, I made this all the same color. You could, do whatever you want as far as colors. This lines up at the top of the head, but again, I'm still lining up that. Hopefully I've got those fairly lined up. That little arrow, the lock. Now this is where you'd put the eye in here, and I need my tweezers for that. So I'm not going to try to sit here and struggle and put that in. I can do that after this is all done, but I need to cover up that hole, right? So then at the last top piece is solid, and it's going to look like the piece underneath. And all I have to do is line that up, and now I don't have all those keyholes showing. No one's going to know how easy that was to line everything up. And again, I'll go back in and put that eye in. And then the last little piece that I have are the feet. So I'm just going to put a little glue here and see if we can get that lined up. And there we go. I mean, look at how easy that was. Cut those pieces out. I inked a little bit, and then so simple to put that together. And the other bird was the same way. So now I went ahead and made a card base. Sending Our Love is also on this die set, and hello is another word. So it also has a background, a shadow die to go with all of these words. I just used Sending Our Love on its own. And now I can just add my bird. And that's maybe more of a card that you think about when you see a dove, rather than my kind of grungy one over here that I use kind of as a postage stamp. So again, I'm trying to find ways to use these as much as possible. But I promised you we would look at a white dove, and so that's what I want to show you. So when I first started these, I cut these out as white doves, but I also had on my desk the street light, the post for the street light. And I thought, well, you know what? That dove could land on top of that lamppost. So that's what I did here with this one. A little more traditional, what you think of as a dove. And then I put Shine Bright, even though I don't have the light shining on it. Shine Bright inside as a person is more encouragement. So there's our white dove as compared to our maybe kind of grungy dove. Or if I take these outer wings off, maybe again I could use that as a robin. And then one more using our big dove, another white dove. This time I put it again on a more of a grungy background, but I just really like the contrast of the white against the darker, grungier background, something you wouldn't expect. This is on the other lamppost, and this time I put You Shine again, more of an encouragement type of card. The background paper is from 49 Market, Rust and Rev again. So different looks using that same die set for the doves, because I think this is a beautiful, beautiful set. But again, I want to expand it and use it in as many ways as possible. And then there is this beautiful bearded iris. I absolutely fell in love with this dice set. And there's the 2 flowers on here. So there's 2 separate flowers. And you can see all the pieces. And this is the one that I started with. And when I opened it up, the pieces were not lined up for each flower. So let me show you. When I had this, and I put in magnetic sheets to hold it all in place, but I think you can see better. So one flower has that little arrow, and then the other one has like a triangle. And I think these were kind of interchanged. Some of these pieces were over here and vice versa. So when I put this together, for me, it was easier to put all the pieces together for one flower on one side and the other flower on the other side. And then I did, like here, I left the little arrow in there so you can see that. But you could mix and match the stem. Even though it looks like it belongs here, it works with the other flower as well. And the leaves, both flowers can use those. So you can see that on the back. The white is one flower. The kind of peachy yellow is the second flower. But these were definitely critical that we had that keyhole, because I never would have been able to line these up. And there are some other little embossed lines here that kind of help you on some of these. I think they kind of help me figure out how to line the flowers up. But if you stay with whatever symbol that you're using for whatever flower and you line those up perfectly, your flowers will come out perfect. So I'm going to use this as a piece of home decor. It's 6 by 6, but that gives you an idea how large those flowers are. You could make this in any color, but I just think this is beautiful. You can also use the flowers individually. So let me show you this card, and then I'll talk about the pieces that used to make it. But you know how I love those hands. So I thought I'm going to make this hand holding one flower. So this flower is the white one. I could have used the other one just as easily. And it's popping up as if it's handing you that stem. So when I put this together, I knew I was going to have this pop up, and I knew I wanted to use this hand. So I thought all the actions on the inside. So I'm going to make my outside super simple. And I started with Karen Burniston's Happy Birthday. So I did use the shadow die as well. So Happy Birthday and the Happy Birthday shadow. I used both of those from her set. And then I found this tulip, or excuse me, this iris later. As I was digging something out for another card, I came across this, because originally I didn't have this on here, but I thought I could use that on the front of the card. So this is Spellbinder's Layered Iris. And just because I found it kind of after the fact, I did add it to my card. And then on the inside, I've got that great hand, Bestie Heart and Hand from Spellbinders. Again, I just love those hands. And the pop-up, I wanted a simple pop-up. And so this is the postage pop-up, which is basically just 2 pieces here. You can see it here. Super simple to put this together. And I kind of laid everything out to make sure my card base was large enough. But you can see the pop-up. So simple. And just make sure it all enclosed okay. And I had it positioned so it didn't fall outside my card base. Very, very simple. And then I needed, because this is such busy cardstock, I just cut out another piece to write over here. I could stamp on this and write, and that's from the Rectangles Crosshatch. Now, if I wanted to say, I debated with myself, did I want this on the right or left side? This time I put it on the left. I could do it on the right. You can make this so it pops up on this side. I know it's upside down, but let's say you wanted the pop-up on the right-hand side and you write on the left. That's your personal choice, again, debate with yourself. This way I can sort of see that hand rise if I have it on the right-hand side, because on this side, it's already popped up by the time the person opens the card. So again, I sat and debated about what I wanted to do. There's no right or wrong, just what's your personal preference. But I love this idea, a surprise on the inside, and that is such a big, beautiful flower. You could color it any color you want for your iris. And then finally today, as summer is soon to be here, the heat's already knocking on the door, and it won't be long and I'll be like, oh, I need to make some fall and Halloween things just to mentally keep cool. So I saw this pumpkin die at Creativation, and I was like, oh, I love that. And even though we're quite a few months still from fall, I'm like, I love that. And it's so different, very simple to put together. 3 different sizes of pumpkins, again, on the back. It shows you the layout. So if you have any questions, you can refer to this. But I think when you see the pieces, there's no keyhole because this is very simple and kind of self-explanatory to put together. So I used those 3 pumpkins and just had fun cutting them out of some scraps. This guy I had half done. We looked at him last time, so I finished him off and cut him out and thought he would go great with my pumpkins. Again, he is from the Rough Life, the guy with the cool teeth and his tongue hanging out. And then the background paper is from 49 on Market, Rust and Rev. So when I saw this paper at Creativation and I saw the pumpkins at Creativation, I'm like, somehow I've got to put those 2 together. I just fell in love with both of them. And I like my little guy. I think he's a great little addition. And then It's Pumpkin Time is something I pulled out of my stash. And I'm not even going to guess whose stamp that is. Again, those were all made just sitting there waiting to be used. So that gives us some ideas on the new dies from Altenew. They have a ton of new dies, beautiful dies. And we'll take a look at more of them later. But whether you use them together, kind of find a way to mix them up, change them up, whatever you want to do. And of course, let's see here. We don't want to forget about our grumpy traveler cat. We better give him a little extra love too. So hopefully that gives you some ideas for any upcoming cards that you may need. And I thank you for joining me. And I also want to say thank you for all of the thumbs up and the wonderful, very nice comments that some of you have left. I really, really appreciate that. So thank you for that. And I'll see you again in a future video.